Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Chat. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen. This week we're discussing the upcoming Impact Wrestling Slammiversary pay-per-view, which will be taking place on Saturday, July 15th, 2023. So always look forward to this event. It's one of their biggest events of the year. It's basically their Royal Rumble leading up to their WrestleMania, which is bound for glory. And it always delivers. They always have big surprises. You always have like major title changes, so it's going to be a blast. So I'm going to give my thoughts and predictions on each match, and we'll start with the Countdown to Slammiversary match, Joe Hendry versus Kenny King for the Digital Media Championship. So yeah, this is going to be a great one. I love both of these guys. Very charismatic. It's going to be such a blast. But I think it's Kenny King's turn. I think he needs to win it this time because he's been back in Impact Wrestling for quite a while now, and he's been doing a great job. He's been working hard, busting his ass, and he deserves this opportunity, I feel like, He's been taking a little bit too many L's, so I think it's time for him to get the W and get that Digital Media Championship around his waist. As great as Joe Hendry is, and he's had the longest reign so far of Digital Media Championship, but I think it's Kenny's turn. Next is going to be the Ultimate X match. Always a staple of the show. A staple match of TNA back in the day, So it's going to be Jonathan Gresham, Speedball, Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight, Angels from The Design, or actually I guess he's not on The Design anymore, but and Kushida from New Japan. Yeah. It's going to be, they always put on a great, spectacular match for this, the Ultimate X. You always get a lot of great high spots, some death-defying stunts, It's always a blast. But I think this is another case like Kenny King, where it's going to be Jonathan Gresham. He's another one that's really paid his dues in Impact Wrestling. He's been really working hard, having lots of great matches with like Speedball. He's just been putting his work in, and he's such a great technical wrestler. And I think it's his time to shine now. Jonathan Gresham is going to win the Ultimate X and get his chance at a shot at the X Division Championship. Next up is the Coven, which I just love. They are the reigning Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champions, and they have been for quite a while. Maybe the longest reign in Impact Knockouts Tag Team history. They're going up against the recently united Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly. Everyone's talking about that little exchange they had at the end of the last match on Impact. Quite a combination there. Two crazy, intense, wrestlers together. I think they're going to make a great team. Really exciting, sexy, wild, crazy. You don't know what's going to happen. They're going to be unpredictable. As much as I love the Coven and I want to see their reign continue, I just feel like it's time for Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich. I think it's really going to go over well. Yeah, so another title change. Next up is Eddie Edwards versus Frankie Kazarian. Really looking forward to this match. Two legends of Impact and TNA wrestling. Love these guys. Credible veterans, still killing it. And both trainees from the Killer Kowalski School of Wrestling in Malden, Massachusetts, because I used to live there. I passed by that many times. I almost was going to go in there, Unfortunately, I never did, and, he passed away. Yeah, so... And Frankie Kazarian's going to have the original Knockout, Tracy Brooks, in his corner, so that's going to be great. So I think because of that reason, I think Frankie Kazarian's going to get the win this time, because last time Eddie Edwards got the win, and his wife was heavily involved in that matchup. So I think that's going to be the difference here. Frankie Kazarian gets the win. Next up, we have ABC, and that's Ace Austin and Chris Bay, who together have been absolutely killing it as part of the Bullet Club, and they've been Impact Tag Team Champions for quite a while now, and they're just a fantastic team. They click so well together. They have great chemistry, both phenomenal athletes, both like the future of Impact Wrestling. And they're going to be going against Brian Myers and Moose, as well as Rich Swann and Sami Callihan. Now, what happened to OVE? I thought Sami Callihan had gotten back together with OVE. Now all of a sudden he's Rich Swann out of nowhere. But at any rate, they also got Subculture in that match, the Brits. So that should be an interesting one. But I'm going to have to go with ABC retaining the championship because they're just too good and they're much better than these just kind of slapped together teams. I don't feel like it's time for ABC to lose yet. They're just on such a roll. They're such a great team. They have such amazing chemistry. They're like the new Motor City Machine Guns. I don't see them losing yet. At least until Bound for Glory. Next up we have Chris Sabin versus Lio Rush, who just recently made his Impact Wrestling debut only, 2 weeks ago? We've seen him on WWE, of course, as part of 205 Live. He was also Bobby Lashley's lackey a while back. He was just kind of his, manager or whatever. But yeah, he did a great job. He's got the skills, but I don't see him taking out Chris Sabin already. No way Chris Sabin is losing the X Division title already. You know why? It's because he's going to cash in Option C and take on the Impact World Champion and go for the World Championship. Guaranteed. There's no way it's not happening. Next matchup is Bully Ray and Diener for some reason. What happened to Steve Macklin? Why isn't he in this match? I thought it was supposed to be Bully and Steve Macklin. They're the ones that have been working together to take out, Scott D'Amore, the president of Impact Wrestling, and PCO, who they did take out, and they lit PCO on fire, for God's sakes. So apparently he's not going to be able to make it to this matchup, so it's going to be a secret mystery opponent, and I'll tell you exactly who that's going to be. Obviously, it's going to be Josh Alexander making his return at Slammiversary. You know it. You know it's going to happen. You know he's going to get another Canadian on his team. And we know Josh has been out for quite a while on injury. But I think it's probably time for him to come back. I'm sure he's probably healed by now, or at least close to it. Enough to make his comeback in this tag team match. And I'm going to go with Scott D'Amore and Josh Alexander for the win. Absolutely. Only because, obviously, Josh Alexander, former Impact World Champion. They're going to win, of course. No matter what shenanigans Bully Ray pulls off. And I think Diener is going to have a lot of trouble working with Bully Ray because they've never tagged before. So it's going to be an awkward team there, And next up, we're going to have the Impact Wrestling Knockouts World Championship. Really looking forward to this one. Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuosa, taking on Trinity. Wow. Trinity, as we all know, was Naomi in the WWE, who kind of walked out under extreme circumstances. Very controversial the way she exited WWE, but she chose to come to Impact Wrestling, and man, she's gotten over incredibly. I mean, she's the biggest star in Impact Wrestling. It's amazing. She's been a huge hit. Her run in Impact Wrestling is just a huge success. When she enters the building, people just lose their minds. She gets the biggest pop in Impact right now. So, as much as it pains me to say, I'm going to have to say Trinity is going to win the Impact Knockouts World Championship. Just because Trinity is so over, I just don't think they're going to go against the grain. I think they're going to give it to her. She has worked hard. She's had she's paid her dues. She's had some really good matches with Giselle Shaw and her crew and all that. I think she's done a great job. She's just so over. She's so charismatic. She's got the wild outfits and the glow and all that. But I'm honestly not ready for Deonna Purrazzo's run to be over because she is such a great championship. She is such a professional. She is everything that a champion should be. And I love it. I love Deonna Purrazzo. She's my favorite women's wrestler in the world right now. But I just feel like that's what Impact's going to choose to do. They always seem to go with, like, the ex-WWE people to come in and have huge runs and just take out the Impact veterans, you know? It just seems the way it goes, you know? Like, I would love for Deonna to win, and maybe they could have a big rematch at Bound for Glory. That's what I would do, but I feel like they're going to give it to Trinity right now, you know? Next up, of course, the World Heavyweight Championship, and it's going to be Alex Shelley from the Motor City Machine Guns taking on Nick Aldis, the former Magnus from back in the day, the national treasure. He's been great. I mean, I think he's better now than he's ever been. He's so much better than he was in his first couple runs with Impact. I think he's just a seasoned veteran now, and he's just got all the tools. He's got it all together. He's still in fantastic shape, and he's a much better wrestler now, and he's much better on the mic. He's got all the tools. Everything it takes to be a great world champion, so I'm going with Nick Aldis, baby. As much as I love Alex Shelley is a phenomenal talent. He's an amazing wrestler. He's an extremely gifted athlete. The only thing is he doesn't really have that much of a character, you know. He's not very good on the mic. He doesn't have much charisma, really. He's a phenomenal wrestler, phenomenal athlete, but he just doesn't have the charisma, and you gotta have all those things when you want to be the world champion. You know, you need to be able to talk, and you need to be able to be charismatic and cut a promo, as well as having the great wrestling skills, you know. And I just feel like he comes up a little short in that area, and I feel Nick Aldis does have what it takes to be a great world champion. I think he will be. So I'm going Nick Aldis. I originally thought it was going to be Motor City Machine Guns versus each other at Bound for Glory. Chris Sabin cashing in Option C, taking on Alex Shelley, and it'll be the clash of the Machine Guns. I still think they are going to clash, but I don't think it'll be for the World Championship yet. Maybe after Chris Sabin takes on the World Champion Nick Aldis at Bound for Glory. That's how it's going to be, folks. That's my predictions and my thoughts on Impact Wrestling Slammiversary this Saturday, July 15th. So definitely don't miss the show. It's going to be a great pay-per-view. It's going to deliver in spades. And thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, the Pro Wrestling Chat. Tune in and lock up.